All right, true believers, believe it or not, the freedom to draw unsolved mysteries has turned 1 year old today. So we got the happy birthday song and the dark, mysterious piano music playing on in the background here. I just want to thank my original viewers and all the newcomers. Thank you for watching, and we saved one of the best ones for the 1 year anniversary. Freedom to Draw Unsolved Mysteries is turning 1 year old today, and we saved the best case for that. This is the case of a Texas woman in 1996 murdered her 2 children, they say. And now she is currently on death row. But the mystery is, did she do it? Her name is Darlie Routier. And this, folks, is what got me into the true crime genre. This lady's story was so captivating to me that I've been hooked on true crime ever since. Without further ado, let's get into the case, true believers. The freedom to draw unsolved mysteries starts now. Alright guys, we're going to draw Darlie Routier. And we're going to tell you about her story, which is very complicating, very captivating. Now, I did not see Darlie's story on an Unsolved Mystery, and I was later just surprised to find that it was on Unsolved Mysteries. I think it was season 12, the last season. I think it was episode 12. But anyway, this account is from the Unsolved Mysteries show. Her name was Darlie Lynn Routier. Her case is a final appeal. And that's what we're doing today. Final appeal, guys. Happy birthday to the show. The location was Rowlett, Texas. The date was June 6, 1996. And I find that weird because we just did a show on Catherine Corzelius that happened in Austin, Texas, a month or two after this one, August in 1996, which was strange things happening in Texas in 1996, it seems. Maybe I'm off base, but we just had 2 back-to-back shows with Texas and unexplained things happening in 1996, in the summer of 1996. It's weird. So the case details are: Darlie and Darin were married with 3 sons. After the birth of their 3rd son, Drake, Darlie began to suffer from postpartum depression. However, their life seemed perfect otherwise. On the night of June 6, 1996, Darlie slept on the sofa in her family room while her oldest and middle sons, Devon and Damon, slept on the floor near her. Darin and Drake were asleep upstairs when she reportedly woke to find a person right above her. She screamed for Darin, and the assailant fled the house, dropping his knife on the way out. This is the account of Darlie Routier, what she says happens on that infamous night. Now, it is important to note that there was a lot of serial killers in Texas through the years, and even some during this time. Railroad Killer, Sunday Morning Slasher, the Phantom Killer, the Angel of Death in Texas. There was one of the... It seems like there's an Angel of Death in every state. A nurse that was killing people. The Broomstick Killer, which is of interest in this case. He was incarcerated during the time of this, but why I tell you about the Broomstick Killer was he raped and murdered people in their house. He broke in. I'm telling you about it. It was not him that did it. He was in jail when this happened in '96. But there could have been other guys out there that are still not known and still not caught doing the same darn thing. And that's why I bring Kenneth McDuff up. There also was a fingerprint that never has been identified yet on the end table. This comes into play later. That's if you're pro Darlie being innocent. Those are some important notes if you think this lady is innocent. Now, it is a mystery as if she did this or not. Darlie realized that she, Devon, and Damon had been attacked, so she called 911 immediately. Noticed they were badly stabbed, so Darin immediately noticed that they were badly stabbed, so he began CPR on them as Darlie stood by. Now that's another important thing to note. She did nothing to help her children. Then the attending officers at the crime scene did take note of that. She maybe offered them a towel, that's it. But that's kind of weird, you know, that's her kids. And she's just going to stand there. And now people do react to traumatic situations in different ways. When I got stabbed, my reaction was to remain calm at all costs. And, well, the initial reaction was to fight off the threat, which I did. And then the secondary reaction was to remain calm, which I did. And that probably saved my life. Both. I fought. The fight or flight, I fought. And then I remained calm. So I've been stabbed. Not a lot of people have that first-hand knowledge, but I do. By the time paramedics arrived, Devon was dead. Damon died en route to the hospital. Darlie was also treated for cuts that included an almost fatal gash on her throat near a major artery. She survived her wounds. Darlie was interviewed by detectives shortly after surgery. According to her and her family, she was being treated as a suspect from the very beginning. The detective claimed that they were suspicious of several aspects of her story and the intruder theory. If you think that she did do it, there is important things to note on that. You cannot explain blood that is concentrated at the sink area and not the couch area where she said the attack took place. That is unexplainable and has been to this day. And the vacuum cleaner did have blood roll marks on it, as if someone used the vacuum to clean up a mess. And it was Darlie's blood that was identified to be on the vacuum. People that are against her innocence point those aspects out. Other important facts are she had somehow slept through her attack and the murders. She was unable to give a clear description of her assailant despite coming face to face with him. Police claim they did not find evidence at the crime scene that supported an intruder. The alleged entryway for the intruder was an open window in the garage that had its screen slashed out. However, there was an undisturbed layer of dust on the sill, suggesting that no one had actually came through it. A long bleached blonde hair was found in the cut screen. Darlie's hair was the color at that time. Nothing was missing from the home, which ruled out robbery as a motive. There was a lack of blood, of a blood trail leading outside of the garage. The alleged intruder did not leave any blood or footprints at the scene. A tube sock with Devon and Damon's blood on it was found in an alleyway near the home. Police believe that this was a planted item there by Darlie as an attempt to stage the scene. Also, the people that are for her innocence say, how did she get those severe bruising on her arms? And I will put that as the thumbnail, the picture of Darlie's arms, so you will see that when you look at the thumbnail, the introduction thumbnail to this video. I will definitely put that on there so you can see what her supporters say. How could she have got those bruises without there being someone that attacked her? A week and a half after the murders, Darlie was interrogated by a detective reportedly known for extracting confessions. She allegedly stated, "If I did it, I don't remember." However, the detective did not record that statement. Her family claims that she never made that statement. She was subsequently arrested and charged with capital murder. She was also put on suicide watch. And also, something to note was there was no known motive for this. I thought of maybe they had a fight with, she had a fight with her husband prior to that night of them sleeping on the couch, and he had said some things and maybe physically abused her where she got those marks on the arms. And then she said to herself, well, I'll get you back, I'll kill our kids for revenge. But why did she not point the finger at her husband, which she did not do and still does not do to this day? It has never changed the way she has reacted to this. She just claims an intruder, and that's the story that she's staying with. Even to this day, she's still on death row, awaiting her possibly death sentence. She is sentenced to death, guys. Attorneys hired to defend Darlie challenged the accusations. According to their defense, evidence used to secure the arrest warrant was flawed. According to Lloyd Harrell, a private investigator for the defense, the hair found in the window screen was determined to belong to a Rowlett police officer. He also noted that the sill was low to the ground, making it unlikely for an intruder to disturb that dust. Darlie's trial was moved to Kirk County, a conservative area of south central Texas with a high rate of conviction in death penalty cases. Her trial began on January 6, 1997. The prosecution opened its case by presenting the state's theory of the crime. According to the state, Darlie was a greedy, selfish, and vain woman whose extravagant lifestyle was threatened by the responsibility of being a mother. Prosecutors claimed that if Devon and Damon were dead, she could collect their life insurance policies. And that's what they say. That's what they say the motive of this crime was for. And one of my other important notes and possible motive for this is maybe they had a fight with about money with the husband, and he said, "I'm going upstairs and I'm going to bed," and she just sat on that and stewed on it for a while, and then just the kids were maybe acting up because they were woken up by the fight, and he went upstairs, closed the door, slammed the door shut, went to bed, and maybe in that moment she just snapped, and the kids fought her hard because she was coming after them. And they fought for their lives, and that's where she got the bruising from. Maybe she just snapped. That is one possible motive that I was thinking about. She could have just snapped. They were having money trouble. Believe me, folks, I know this case inside and out. There isn't one aspect of this case that I do not know. I've been following this case for 3-4 years now. This is the case that got me into the true crime genre. So you probably owe this case to me creating this show, if you can believe that. That's how invested I was in this case. And I still am. A long time that I thought that she was completely innocent. But I must admit, when I first saw it, I thought she was dead guilty. I thought, what a horrible person. But to this day, I do not know. I will admit it. I cannot rule for or against her. I just don't know. The DA argued that Darlie, still suffering from postpartum depression, murdered Devon and Damon, slit her own throat, and then tried to make it appear that an intruder committed the crime. A medical examiner testified that her wounds were superficial and self-inflicted. However, the defense introduced medical reports that stated that her neck wound came within 1/16 of an inch of severing her carotid artery and killing her. Hospital photographs also showed extreme bruising on her arms. Now, when I got stabbed in the neck, it was like 1/16 of an inch away from hitting my carotid artery. So, that's probably another reason why I identify with this case. Darlie's attorneys also pointed out that Darin was issued $800,000 and Devon and Damon only $10,000. According to her mother, it took $13,000 to bury them. The prosecution countered with a blood spatter expert who focused on a small amount of blood on the back of Darlie's shirt. It contained Devon and Damon's blood. According to the expert, this was cast-off blood which would occur as she stabbed them as she brought the knife back and forth, and blood would drip off and land on the back of her shirt. However, her mother expressed her belief that this occurred because the police contaminated the evidence in their collection process. Also, she could have been sleeping on her face when the intruder came in and stabbed her, and therefore stabbed the kids, and that's how the blood spatter got on her back. That's also a possibility. Prosecution then brought up a controversial piece of evidence. 8 days after the murders, the Routiers celebrated Devon's 7th birthday posthumously at his grave. Darlie had just been released from the hospital and was on painkillers and antibiotics and antidepressants. A news crew captured her smiling and spraying silly string on Devon's grave as part of a birthday celebration. She claims it was a celebration of his birthday and was not a cold gesture against him. During deliberations, the jury viewed the edited down silly string video 8 times. It took them only 10 hours to convict her on capital murder after viewing this silly string video. Her family and supporters soon revealed that crucial evidence was overlooked during the investigation. And a lot of her supporters say that this was the video that did her in. It looked like she was laughing and carrying on, but again, people grieve different ways, and you cannot say how you would react in that circumstance regardless. You can never put yourself in this lady's shoes and how she reacted. Her family described that the photographs of her wounds were not properly presented to the jury after the trial. The juror, Charles Samford, got to look more closely at the pictures, he felt that the wounds were not self-inflicted. Her defenders also point to the tube sock found 75 yards from the Routier home. It contained Devon and Damon's blood among the skin DNA from Darlie. However, none of her blood stains were found on it. Her supporters believe that someone else left it there. Furthermore, her supporters knew she would have been unable to kill Devon and Damon and stage the scene in that small amount of time frame between the murders and the arrival of the police. Medical testimony established that Damon, who didn't die until paramedics arrived, could not have lived for more than 9 minutes after receiving those fatal wounds. Darlie was taken to a 911 operator, talking to a 911 operator for 5 minutes and 40 seconds of those 9 minutes. The police secured the scene for an additional 2 minutes before paramedics arrived. According to her supporters, that would leave her a minute and a half to place that sock in the alley, stage a crime scene, and cut her own throat. According to her supporters, there were 2 unidentified fingerprints found on the scene. One was on the door to the garage, and the other was on the credenza behind the couch. Numerous violent rapes in that area had occurred at the same time. In some cases, the assailant entered the unlocked homes of the victims, accosted them with knives found in the kitchen, and used tube socks over their hands to avoid leaving fingerprints. Darlie was sentenced to death on February 1st, 1997. She now sits on death row in prison. Many of her supporters still have a hard time accepting her as Devon and Damon's killer. And that's about it, guys. This is the case of Darlie Routier. I'm going to list some sources under the description so you could further investigate this, because it's just, I can't do this case justice in 28 minutes, guys. But again, this is the Freedom to Draw Unsolved Mysteries. This is our 1-year anniversary, our birthday. Happy birthday, guys, true believers. Peace out. See you next episode.